To the Committee of Adjustments meeting, September the 9th, 2025. Please note that this meeting is being broadcast and recorded. Recordings will be made available on the town's YouTube channel. I would remind everyone that's here to please tune your cell phones off or on vibrate. At this time, I'll introduce the staff and our committee that are here. I'll start with our planners, Planner Jordan Wallace, our other senior planner, Maria Casa-Rossi, our Chief Administrative Officer, Adam Savansky, our Planning Technician, Diane Gould-Brown, and our Deputy Clerk, Lisa Smeekins. I'll introduce our committee. I'll start with my far right, Councillor Mike Vasey, followed by committee member Jennifer Turk. To my left, Deputy Mayor Nettie McEwen, and beside her, Les Goldhawk, committee member, and I am Bruce Moulton, and I am the chair of the committee. I have a motion here. Oh, sorry. Any of our committee members have any pecuniary interest, please report them at the appropriate time. I have a motion here by Nettie McEwen, seconded by Les Goldhawk, that the minutes of the regular Committee of Adjustments meeting held August the 12th, 2025 be approved as presented. Any questions on that? All in favor? That motion is carried. All right, we'll move on to our first application. We have a consent application B-1225. Take notice an application has been made by Melissa Turner, agent for 1000580 Ontario Limited, with respect to the properties known as Plan 25M89, Lot 19, Town of Plympton, Wyoming, 580 Broadway Street. The applicant is requesting a driveway easement in favor of 582 Broadway Street to allow the use of the existing driveway at 580 Broadway Street to provide access from a municipal road to the rear of the property at 582 Broadway Street. At this time, I'll refer to our planner, Jordan, for her comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The consent application before the committee proposes to establish an access easement over the existing driveway at 580 Broadway Street in favor of 2 Broadway Street. The building at 582 Broadway Street occupies the full width of the lot from the north property line to the south property line on the east side of the property, with some space on the west side of the property, which is the rear of the property. But it does lack direct rear frontage onto a municipal road. So to address this, the easement is proposed along the north property line of 580 Broadway Street, extending from the east property line to the west property line, which is currently over the existing driveway. And the intention is to secure continuous vehicle access to the rear of the commercial building at 582 Broadway Street, and also allow for side yard access to 582 Broadway Street, as there's a second floor apartment where their access is on the side yard. So the application is consistent with the County of Lambton official plan and the Town of Plympton-Wyoming official plan, and it complies with the intent of the zoning bylaw. The location and purpose of the easement are not anticipated to result in negative impacts on the neighboring properties or the future owners of the properties. The application was circulated to the required agencies in accordance with the Planning Act. Comments were received from the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, Enbridge Gas, County of Lambton Building Services, the Town of Plympton-Wyoming Public Works and Drainage. Public Works requested that the easement agreement be registered on title for both properties at 580 and 582 Broadway Street to the satisfaction of the department. Has been reflected as a recommended condition of approval. All other agencies indicated no concerns with the application as proposed, and as such, the staff recommend the approval of the proposed consent in the form of a driveway easement.
All right, thank you. I understand that Melissa is on Zoom. Melissa, is there anything you would like to add to our planner's report?
Hi there.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Nope, there's nothing that I need to add. Thank you.
Okay. Diane, any correspondence other than the email that we have here?
No, Mr. Chair, nothing was received.
Okay, I'll go to our committee. This time I'll start with my far left. Les, any questions?
I don't have any questions on.
Deputy Mayor?
No questions. Thank you.
Jennifer,
Nope.
Mike?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Seeing no questions, and I have no questions as well. I have a motion here by Les Goldhawk, seconded by Nettie McEwen, that the report by Jordan Wallace dated August 25th, 2025 be received, and that consent application B-1225 seeking consent to create an access easement in the form of a driveway over the property municipally known as 580 Broadway Street in favor of the property at 582 Broadway Street be approved, subject to the following conditions: that all severance fees as required by the town, including water frontage fees, if applicable, have been paid before the documents will be endorsed. Number two, that the easements in favor of 582 Broadway Street be registered on title of both 582 and 580 Broadway Street to the satisfaction of Public Works. Number three, that a copy of the final RD plan or survey be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer in a form suitable for registration. Number four, that the driveway easement is to remain free and clear of any obstructions. Number five, that the copy of the easement deed and survey be presented at the same time for stamping. And number six, that the conditions must be met and the survey and deed presented within 2 years from the date of the decision or the consent will lapse. I will call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Melissa, there's a 20-day appeal period where during that time, if you have any questions, you can talk to planning or planning techs. If you have any questions over them.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
We now will need to take about a 7-minute break. We can't start our next application until 5:30. Where All right, we'll resume our meeting. Minor variance application number A-1425. Take notice an application is made by Robinson Design and Drafting on behalf of Kevin Jelinek with respect to the property known as Plan 29, Lot 6, Park Bank and Concession Front Part Lot 23, part being RP 25R 7154 parts 11 and 12. ST Row, Town of Plympton, Wyoming, 3842 Fernap. The property is zoned environmental protection, Lakeshore, EPL. The following variances from zoning bylaw 97 of 2003 have been requested for a proposed detached garage. Number one, a variance of approximately 14.6 square meters, 157.15 square feet to permit the footprint of the proposed accessory building to be approximately 44.6 square meters, 480.07 square feet, notwithstanding the required maximum footprint of accessory structures of 30 square meters, 322.92 square feet, as per section 30.5 subsection H. Number two, a variance of approximately 0.47 meters, 1.54 feet to permit the height of the proposed accessory structure to be approximately 4.47 meters, 14.67 feet, notwithstanding the required maximum height of detached accessory structures of 4 meters, 13.2 feet as per section 30.5 subsection G. At this time, I'll ask our planner, Jordan, for her report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the subject property is located in the Bonnie Doon neighborhood on the north side of Fern Ave, abutting Lake Huron. The surrounding area is characterized by a mix of dwelling styles, including but not limited to modest cottage-style homes to two-story single detached dwellings, some with attached garages, and many with accessory structures. The subject property contains a modest cottage-style dwelling with no attached garage, having a floor area of approximately 102.39 square meters, approximately 1,102.1 square feet. The dwelling contains a crawl space and two small accessory structures, garden sheds, but do not contain any accessory structures on the lot suitable for vehicle storage. The applicants are proposing a modest addition to the dwelling and a detached garage, both designed and limited to the constraints of the property. The addition will provide minimal storage, while the proposed detached garage is intended to accommodate the applicant's personal vehicles, seasonal items, yard equipment, and other household storage. So the property is zoned Environmental Protection Lakeshore, EPL. The applicants are requesting the two minor variances to accommodate the construction of the proposed detached accessory structure. The one variance being the increase in permitted footprint of an accessory structure located above the top bank from the maximum 30 square meters to the proposed 44.6 square meters, and a variance to increase the maximum height of the detached accessory structures in the EPL zone from the maximum 4 meters to approximately 4.5 or 4.47 square meters. So the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority has reviewed the application and raised no concerns with respect to the requested variances. They did note, however, that their comments apply only to the variances proposed garage. Written permission from the Conservation Authority will be required prior to undertaking any development of the proposed addition or the detached accessory structure. The garage is proposed in the front yard, landward of any primary hazard areas and the existing dwelling. Its proposed scale and height are not anticipated to generate adverse impacts on the neighboring properties or the shoreline, are not anticipated to affect the established character of the area or restrict shoreline access. The proposed location is designed to position the structure as far as possible from the top of bank and the primary hazard areas, while still complying with the required setbacks in the EPL zone. The application has reviewed for consistency with the County of Plympton official plan, the Town of Plympton-Wyoming official plan, and the provisions of the town zoning bylaw. The proposal satisfies the criteria of the 4 tests of a minor variance under the Planning Act and is consistent with applicable policy framework, with the applicable policy frameworks. The application was circulated to relevant agencies, including the Town of Plympton-Wyoming Public Works and Drainage Department, County of Lambton Building Services, and Bridge Gas, and the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority. No objections were received, and all agencies' comments have been reviewed and incorporated into staff's recommended conditions. Based on this review, staff are satisfied that the proposal represents appropriate and desirable development, conforms to sound planning principles, and supports the continued residential use of the property. Staff therefore recommend approval of the requested variances.
Thank you. Christine or Kevin, anything to add to the?
Nothing to add, no.
Diane, any correspondence other than I know we got some stuff from the St. Clair Conservation Authority, but any other correspondence?
Mr. Chair, no, I haven't received anything further.
Okay, I'll go to our committee for their questions. This time I'll start with my far right, Councillor Vaizey.
Yes, thank you. The only issue I've got, if St. Clair's good with it, is the size of the garage, that if we're over on our footprint, we haven't been built yet, where we make the garage a little smaller to conform. Especially with it being in the front yard. Other than that, okay, I'm okay with it.
Jennifer,
I don't have anything.
Deputy Mayor McEwen.
Yeah, what a space have they got between the garage, the proposed garage, and the lot line? Is that about 12 feet?
Red lot line?
Yeah.
4 meters, which
Just over 4 meters.
it's like 4 point.
To me in feet.
We'll see these. One moment, I have here.
It's about 13 feet, so the vehicles aren't gonna be sticking out on the road, the street, when they don't put them in the garage, correct?
It's actually side loading, so it's coming in from the side.
No, thanks for the,
Yeah, no worries.
that's good. No, I don't have any other questions. Yeah, one comment.
Yes.
Something I would do before I ever built a garage is put some stairs down to the lake. You're gonna kill yourself on.
Those are coming next. There is stairs there, but they were all over.
Oh,
The gentleman that lived there was 103 years old. And I don't think he's been down that set of stairs because there was trees growing through it and, yeah. And we did count the houses on the street. There's 30 houses on the street, and out of the 30, there's 20 of them that have 2 or more car garages. Like all the new ones, some of them are 3-car garages, and so then there's some single car garages, but out of the 30, there's 20 that have 2-car garages.
That it, Nettie?
yes, it is. Okay, thanks.
Les?
Couple of things. One is, like I know that you said the end bridge had signed off on it, but where the gas line is presently, by the looks of the flags, is it gonna be moved?
Yeah, it's gotta be moved.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've had them shut the gas off. All there was that was on gas, there was a little fireplace. We're gonna relocate the gas line around the garage and to the front corner of the house.
The other one was, St. Clair Conservation Authority. They signed off on it. What is the recommended access to the shore?
The in size or?
Yeah.
I believe I can, let me pull up the comments.
Why I'm questioning it is whether or not the access will be available maybe on the west side, but there's a cement porch there and a brick wall, so.
So you're wondering if there'll be sufficient space for emergency vehicles in case of, okay.
The brick wall is coming out, that short brick wall, that's coming out, so that basically the driveway was, you can get a vehicle through there.
Any more, Les?
No, that's it.
Do you need to wait until you hear the number or?
No, if I hear that brick wall's coming out, I think you can get past that cement porch.
Yeah.
Normally they ask for 5 meters on one side, but we're just normally that's the standard that they ask for. Unless there's information where it's acceptable for it to be less, but Jordan's just double checking, but we can get back to you on that if.
Yeah. I'll get back to you.
If it's.
Yeah.
That was the only question that I had in regards to requirements that,
They said the accessory structure meets the conservation or St. Clair Region Conservation Authority Board approved shoreline policies. And the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority Lake Huron Shoreline Management Plan. So. Those plans, they don't specify a.
I just noticed in the notes beside that was that access to the shoreline is to be maintained, it should not be by variance or development.
So the existing that's proposed is sufficient to meet their needs. Otherwise, they would specify a certain amount that. That address your, say through your chair, but.
Yep. No problem. All right, I don't have any concerns. I think it'll be good to have a couple car garage there. All right, I have a motion here by Ned McEwen, seconded by Les Goldhawk, that the report by Jordan Wallace, planner, dated August 26, 2025, be received, and that minor variance application A-1425, requesting relief from the town of Plympton-Wyoming zoning bylaw 97 of 2003 for the maximum accessory structure footprint above top of bank and maximum height for detached accessory structures in the environmental protection or EPL zone be approved, subject to the following conditions. Number one, a certified lot grading plan be submitted to the town of Plympton-Wyoming and approved by the town prior to permit issuance. Number two, final grading plan certificates submitted to the town of Plympton-Wyoming upon final completion and subject to town final approval. Number three, building permits required. Fees will be applicable at the applicant's sole expense. Applicant to apply for building permit and comply with all requirements as prescribed by the Ontario Building Code to the satisfaction of the County of Lambton Development Services Department. Number four, existing proposed driveway accesses are approved by the town of Plympton-Wyoming Public Works, and a copy of approval be provided to building services. Number five, a written permission from the St. Clair Conservation Authority and an improved St. Clair Conservation Authority permit are required for the construction of the detached garage as well as for any future development on the subject property, including the proposed dwelling addition and covered porch at the property owner's expense. Number six, that the existing accessory structure identified as shed number two be demolished prior to the construction of the proposed detached garage. Number seven, ensure eaves troughs, downspouts and grading are always maintained accordingly within own property boundaries, no exceptions. Number eight, ensure the property is generally maintained and drained during the construction process and that drainage waters are not diverted to neighboring properties, and the weeds and grass are always maintained within 20 centimeters, 8 inches or less. Number nine, a survey may be required at the property owner's expense. The setbacks are under scrutiny and shall be the property owner's sole expense. Number 10, for the detached accessory structure, no, only used for personal space only, no habitable space. Personal use only, no habitable space, no livestock permitted, and no commercial or industrial uses permitted. This time I'll call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. As you've heard before, there's a 20-day appeal period. So you can talk to our planners or planning techs if there's any questions during that 20-day appeal. Thank you. Thank you. And we just have one more minute before we start our next application. Continue our third application. Minor variance application number A-1325. Take notice an application was made by Robinson Design and Drafting on behalf of Aaron Cooper with respect to the property known as Plan 3PY Park Lot 25 RP 25R 11424 Part 3, Town of Plympton, Wyoming. Should say King Street. The subject property is zone residential 5R5. The following variances from zoning bylaw 97 of 2003 have been requested for a proposed accessory building. Number one, a variance of approximately 18.48 square meters, 198.92 square feet, to permit the lot coverage of the accessory buildings to be approximately 111.48 square meters, 1,199.96 square feet, notwithstanding the required maximum combined lot coverage of all detached accessory buildings of 93 square meters, 1,001.04 square feet as per section 3.3.4 subsection A2. Number two, a variance of approximately 0.57 meters, 1.87 feet to permit the interior side yard setback to be approximately 1.83 meters, 6 feet, notwithstanding the required minimum interior side yard setback of 2.4 meters, 7.87 feet as per section 3.3.4 subsection B4(3). At this time, I'll refer to our planner, Jordan, for her report.
Mr. Chair, so the subject property is located on the east side of Main Street, an established residential neighborhood that is primarily characterized by single detached dwellings with attached garages. The property abuts a privately owned woodlot to the east and to the south and a residential lot to the north. The lot is currently under development for a one-story single detached dwelling with an attached two-car garage. The dwelling will have a total ground floor area of approximately 228 square meters or 2,454 square feet, consisting of a main floor of 171.68 square meters or 1,840 square feet, and an attached garage of approximately 56.32 square meters or approximately 607 feet. So the applicants are seeking two variances from the town zoning bylaw. The first is to reduce the minimum required interior side yard setback from the 2.4 meters to 1.83 meters. The second is to increase the maximum permitted lot coverage for the for a detached accessory structure from the maximum 93 square meters or approximately 1,001 square feet to proposed 111.48 square meters or approximately 1,200 square feet. The application stated that the larger accessory structure is intended to accommodate a personal woodworking shop, storage for children's toys, garden equipment, including a riding lawnmower, and potential future pool equipment. The reduced setback is requested in order to avoid impacting an existing tree on the lot, which is located north of the proposed detached accessory structure. So while the requested variances are consistent with the County of Plympton official plan and conform to the general intent of the Town of Plympton-Wyoming official plan, they do not satisfy the four tests for a minor variance under the Planning Act. Specifically, the requests do not maintain the intent of the town zoning bylaw. They are not minor in nature and do not represent an appropriate form of. Although the residential 5 zone permits accessory structures and buildings, the zoning bylaw establishes clear standards to ensure orderly, compatible, and appropriate development within residential areas. Staff note the request for an oversized accessory structure is based on a design preference rather than demonstrated hardship or unique circumstance of the property. A compliant accessory structure with a footprint of 93 square meters, together with the attached garage that they're currently developing, would reasonably provide the storage space required for the proposed uses. It is also important to note the dwelling is currently under construction. At the design stage, the applicants had the opportunity to anticipate their long-term storage needs and consider alternatives such as incorporating additional interior storage, enlarging in the attached garage, or constructing a 3-car garage. The proposed reduction to the interior side yard setback also raises concerns related to privacy and drainage. The applicants have identified that there's a 4.88 meter wide strip of land zoned woodlot along the south property line. they've identified that it works as a buffer. So however, previous planning reports related to the history of the subject property have consistently described this buffer area as an access corridor to the larger woodlot located to the east rather than a densely vegetated buffer. The corridor currently contains minimal tree and shrub cover and therefore provides minimal privacy separation between the subject property and the adjacent residential lot. Also from a drainage perspective, all stormwater runoff must be managed entirely on the subject property. So increased setbacks are important for taller accessory structures, and that's why we have an increased 2.4 meter side yard setback for structures that are larger than or taller than 4.5 meters. So these structures typically have, because they are taller, they have larger roof areas and potentially generate greater volumes of runoff. So setbacks or adequate setbacks are established in our zoning to provide space for grading to direct water away from property lines, reduce risks of pooling or soil erosion, and also reduce localized flooding. The adjacent corridor, we cannot reasonably rely on to dissipate or manage stormwater runoff, as it must be managed entirely on the subject property. So for these reasons, staff are of the opinion that the subject property can accommodate a compliant accessory structure that adequately meets the applicant's identified storage and workshop needs. And the requested variances are therefore unnecessary for the reasonable use of the property, as they do not meet the purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw standards, are not minor in nature, and do not represent sound planning principles. Staff requested variances be denied.
Okay, thank you. Christine or Aaron, anything to add to the report?
Yes.
Sure.
So we just wanted it noted as well that on King Street, there are 11 other structures of similar size that are currently on that street. So it's been something that's already been done in the community. When we were designing the house with Aaron, the biggest part was we wanted to have a 2-car garage for the cars only. We didn't want to have a garage with a house attached, hence the reason that we didn't do a 3-car garage. We wanted to maintain a nice look from the road for the house, not having a massive garage and a smaller house attached to it. With that in mind, we were keeping with the square footage combined together for the garage and the house, we're only at 24% lot coverage. So we thought that we were well within for the size of the lot, smaller structures. Anything else you'd like to add?
Just a point that there are many different styles of garages on King Street. Some have connected garages, others have separate garages in the back. I don't think this will look out of place, especially with neighboring properties having similar sheds detached from the main house and a similar size or larger.
Okay. You guys can stay up there. I might have the committee might have some questions for you.
Sounds good.
And any other correspondence, any correspondence come in for this application?
Received anything else?
All right, this time I'll start to my far left again. Les?
I guess, the first one is the side yard setback. Small area is, so I'm wondering why the request is even made. I mean, without that, like that removes one variance right there.
It's true. Yep.
Yeah.
That's just a preference, I think. We have a covered porch on the back of the house there overlooking the woods that I grew up playing in as a kid. So we wanted to try and keep as much of that view from the backyard as possible. So shifting it over a little bit. It also makes it a nice potential future driveway straight into the shed. That route.
2/3 of a foot's gonna make a difference in the view.
For a straight line, maybe. Fair point though.
Eddie?
Were you done? Yeah, I go through this little speech all the time on minor variances that privilege, they're not a right, you know, and if you can't meet the setback, then that's really a reason to get a minor variance, but you can meet the setback for this, and so I really can't be in agreement with that. It's 2 feet, 1.87 feet.
So we were weighing, there is a tree on the northeast corner of what is going to be the building. So we brought it back a bit to try and maintain that tree. If nobody cares about the tree, we can bring it within the setback. So then it's just the larger structure, just the one minor variance that we're asking for.
I do care about trees, but I care about setbacks too.
Okay. And we're just trying to weigh what is more important, because we did have that conversation with Maria. That the wood lot area is very important, and we acknowledge that. We understand that. So we were trying to maintain as many of the trees in the backyard as we could. So that was why the side yard, part of the side yard setback was in place to maintain that tree.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
And then,
Yeah, so
oh, sorry, go ahead. What?
No, go ahead.
And then, the shed could be downsized a teeny bit, you know, also. It's just-
So it's primarily for a woodworking hobby. Currently, I'm working.
Seeing your sheds along King Street.
There are some very nice sheds on King Street. Right now I've been working out of a double car garage for a while, which I'm trying to build the kitchen for my new house and the cupboards and vanities for the bathrooms and everything. It's a real-time sync to unhook machinery, move things around, put things away, just to do one quick job that should be quick. So ideally, I picture this being a shop I can set up, have my workflows ready to go, so that when I have time for my hobby, I can just go out and do it and not have to set things up, put things away. Everything's kind of just in its home. That's what I envision anyways.
Have any more questions?
Maria?
But just through you, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to confirm that we will have the discussion about moving about the need perspective. Just didn't meet the principles and standards that planning felt that there was an opportunity for it to be in compliance with the side yard setback, and also potentially decreasing the size of the proposed detached building to accommodate for that, for moving the location of the detached building so that it didn't impact the tree. So I just wanted to confirm that we did have these discussions as potential options. The one point.
Anything else, Nettie? Jennifer?
I can't support it as it's presented, because it's a choice to build what you want to build instead of following what our zoning bylaw is. And like when we deal with these variances, we deal it with very individual. We don't care what other garages are there, what other accessory buildings are there. That's not what we do here. We don't compare with what's there. We compare with what our zoning bylaw allows. And I see where you can make changes to conform with our zoning bylaw, so I can't support it as it's presented.
Mike?
Yes, one question for the planners. You mentioned that with the garage being on the side yard setback could affect access to the woodlot. I don't understand that.
So,
There's a fence down his property line.
well, through you.
How is the garage gonna
Through
affect?
you, Mr. Chair. I did not discuss about a fence. That was not something we had talked about. So the in between the properties, there's and so in terms of management, if there's ever needing access of vehicles, because that is the access point to the road, for any circumstance encroaching on the side yard setbacks, didn't want to further encroach into that area. If there's ever a necessity for woodlot management in the future.
Again, they don't have access to his property.
Right. But it would be encroaching on the side yard setback. So
You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how,
From a planning perspective, you're within the buffer that the zoning bylaw tries to give people for incidentals. From a legal perspective, you're not supposed to encroach, so it's fine. you're in that buffer area, that's the only difference.
Alright, doesn't-
Don't think it'll-
I don't know, I just first I saw that and I'm thinking. Okay. To me, the simplest solution is you're to take the man door off, which is about 4 feet. You don't have any variances at all. You can slide the thing over and meet all the variances, so. Comes out to like 220 square feet that you would take off that building. Not really affect a whole. So. I don't know. Downsize it is what I'm saying. Is go a little bit on the whole width of one side, slide it over the 1.5 feet that you need to gain. Side yard variance, and it affects really nothing, so
Except the functionality of the building,
that's right.
the functionality of the building for,
Well, it's gonna be a little smaller, I understand that, but. Better than no building.
Is that it, Mike?
That's all I have.
Yeah, I have a few comments. I think the 2 feet, I don't think is asking too much myself. I considering that there is a buffer there. And of course, you all know size of the shed is not over. We've granted far larger sheds than this in this committee and with even less room. To me, the 2 feet, I mean, and I know we're not comparing, but the shed beside it encroaches up to 3 feet up to the lot line instead of what probably should be, I think it's supposed to be this. Yeah, so I just think that to myself personally, I think it's minor. I don't think, once again, I know we don't compare sheds, but King Street is the road for sheds. And I mean, for people that actually do stuff in their shed and do whatever, an extra 200 square feet is probably, needed. I mean, the shed could have been, if it was higher. I think I would have had an issue with it encroaching 2 more feet, but I don't think because of that, not excess height. Because if it was, I believe if it was 2 feet lower, it wouldn't even need a variance for side yard. I think it would be only 6 feet or 3 feet, I think. No, 4.5 or. Yeah. So anyway, that's just my comment. I just want to know what the committee.
can I make a comment on that?
Sure.
We did have an original design which mirrored the roof line of the house, kind of make things look cohesive and kind of similar, but we dropped that down several feet for 4 feet to get it under 17 feet. My memory is correct there. Why is that?
So this is where we might have to have some discussion here, committee. Anyone willing to, wait, I don't get a vote, so I don't, I only if it's tied, so, we want to discuss about the side yard. Is that the major issue or the Nettie?
Well, I just, I guess that's my major issue. So if you wanna come back with the.
I'm willing.
Well, it's better.
Foot and a
Bring
half.
it in the
Better than
side yard.
denial,
Yeah,
you could say.
we'll bring it over the 1 foot 10 inches. And that's what it is to get us in that side yard. So it drops that.
So you'd be
request.
willing to take that variance off and only ask for the size variance,
Size variance.
committee?
I have to come back. Can't just make a decision on that, because we have to make a decision on what's presented.
But if they take a variance off, I don't think that I think we can make a decision on. You're not going against anything. You're not asking for another variance or changing a variance. You're basically staying with the same variance, except you're taking one away. I don't see how we would have to come back for that. Mike?
Just not really an issue I have, but they do have the side yard. There's nothing's ever gonna be there. You got the wood lot to the back that's gonna affect nobody as far as sight lines and all that. That's the part I understand you can meet all this stuff, but then you're also in a great location for something like this because it's gonna affect nobody. So that's where I'm I teeter back and forth that
I did reach out to immediate neighbors as well and submitted a signed letter with our application. Had numerous neighbors who were available that weekend to find their support and or indifference.
If I could, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
just to address that, and thank you. So you, through you, Mr. Chair. The issue with that, and it's always helpful to have that information. However, from a planning perspective, we need to look at not just the current owners, but future owners of the properties. So that's why our planning principles are what they are, and the recommendation is not solely based on the letters that are coming in to support, because the ownership can change and it could have impacts on future owners. So as much as we appreciate that, that is part of the consideration that to account.
Yep. Us.
Just educate me here. The side yard, is that not a right of way?
Private driveway.
It's a right of way.
A right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a right of way to the woodlawn.
Yeah, so it's a 16-foot right of way, so 16 feet wide that runs down the whole length of the property.
That was established to be able to get the 3 lots. Okay. Like it's not a buffer then.
It's, sorry, through you, the chair. It's been referred to in the planning reports like the EIS and, sorry, the EIA, and other like severance reports and the minor variance reports for the history as an access corridor rather than a vegetated, densely vegetated area.
Okay.
It was part of the settlement.
Yep.
Originally.
Yeah, this committee's, we're part of that severance. And you had a question?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought you had your hand up.
Oh, I did maybe pick it up for no reason. I don't.
So I'll refer to our,
All right, I will. Question. Can we? Can't grant this variance and then deny the other, like, can you grant part of this? Or, and not the other part? I don't know if you can do that. I don't think you can. They have to come back.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe that the committee can make a decision based on what is presented before them. I think what would need to come back or what would require notice is a substantial departure from what was already provided as part of the public notice. But it's up to committee to make a decision based on what's before them. If they wish to deny, approve, or defer, if they wish to, if their decision is to approve one of the variances and deny the other, I don't see why there would not be that authority. Because the decision is before you based on their request. So if you want to deny the whole application or defer it, or so grant, deny, or defer, or if your decision is to only partially grant and deny, then I believe that that is possible.
Just trying to think of the functions of this one because the committee doesn't call for the motion. They take a different stance in council. So how you would either split it into 2 motions for the 2 separate variances, or you would amend it just to have the other variance would depend on who signed it. But again, committee moves and seconds beforehand, so it's hard, you can't amend a motion that's.
so if they withdraw the one variance, it's withdrawn on their end, we're still just voting on the one variance. I believe that we should be able to do that here tonight, because you're not changing anything that would be posted, because you're not even considering the variance isn't even part of the.
I would know what we have done.
And we've done that
standard
before here.
practice. Have we?
Yeah,
Or have we
we've had them,
and deferred?
whoa, we've had them change numbers here before on variances. We've had them numbers, so. But they're no longer asking for a variance. It would be a no variance for They would comply.
That's not what's being presented though.
So through
To
you,
be deferred if.
so through you, Mr. Chair, if there is this debate, I think the safest option, the more conservative option would be for committee to defer it and have the applicants amend their application and then bring it forward for reconsideration. It would not require, I don't believe it would require, we could still post a notice if needed, but I don't feel that it's required in this case. But certainly we can, the motion can be to defer and have them come back. It is a formal request and then it's reconsidered and the report is attached to it. Then what would you like?
Ready?
You weren't gonna put this up next week, were you? This building?
I'd love to. Currently, I am taking over my parents' shed and garage. So yeah, I would love to move this along for sure. We hope to get in the last meeting by a week.
Through you, Mr. Chair,
I have
Jordan
the,
had something that she would like to mention.
so I have an example from 2020, a proposal that was for an accessory structure that they were approving or the staff was recommending approval of, I believe, 3 out of the 4 variances and recommending denial of a side yard setback. So in the decision that was granted by committee, they in the conditions, they said that the interior side yard setback be at least 2.4 meters instead of the requested 1.2. So I believe that we could amend our conditions to say that the required setback would be 2.4. So I don't know if we would necessarily need to defer.
But if, you know, if you would prefer to be more cautious and conservative, you can go that route, but I don't think there's a deviation or a request for a new variance that would require the public notification. But I leave that for you as committee to decide.
Yeah, I'd be agreeable to that, you know. Put it in all the conditions. The side yard setback.
Would comply.
Would be the 2.4 meter.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have to, because it'd be an approval in part.
Yeah.
That won't hold you up either.
To save the tree, even better.
Mike, you okay with that?
I'd say we've
In
done,
the condition, save the
Lisa
tree.
and Diane, can you write that up for us? I have to get a motion here on the floor. So is that,
So you'll have to add a condition 9 on your motion there.
well, I have to change more than that because I
So you
think
just
just
need-
asking.
Accepted motion. We did draft 3 separate motions.
Yep, I see them.
This may take a minute.
Yep.
We'll just need to make sure
Lots of time.
and you have the same wording.
New one will have to take-
What's that?
that one, the approval is approving it both. So
Yes, that's right.
So we're,
to put a new motion forward that it's only approved in part.
so what we've talked about is adding another condition. That says that the side yard setback be required to be 3.4 meters. So that last condition would take away that
Okay, so
second variance request.
we're going to
If we get challenged on, you have a motion that
this in part.
approves one,
Okay.
but not the other, and that's an easy challenge for someone.
Following conditions and then ask that,
Well,
have that last condition
it should
about.
be in the motion.
Yes, and I'd add a condition.
You might have, you're gonna have to rewrite the first part of the motion, so, because you can't say we're approving this variance, but then in the condition that you meet this variance. So you're gonna have to take that portion, the side yard setback out of the motion and
Yes.
then add a condition that this setbacks be maintained.
Yep.
We'll take that out because it's not being approved,
Yeah.
right?
This is the house.
Yeah,
Or do we? Is, it's gonna be approved inside. Yes, we have to leave the inside there, even though we took that. Side yard out.
Don't have a strong opinion on either way. It's been a process in the committee. It's
We're only
been-
approving
that was-
application in part, it is changed.
Yes, so I think very clear.
That 2021, just 2020 decision, I wasn't here for, so I can't speak to it. But since I've sat with you, there's been
Yeah, I
a
know.
application that's been brought back.
Side yard setback.
There's precedence both ways, I guess.
Here to the zoning bylaw requirement.
Just completely full. Shut down, my two. No.
It's all right.
Say, walk away from all of it. Build 1,000 square feet and another shed and then.
That should 2.4.
Wow.
Say that?
See how long it lasts.
Wake out for walking.
Just-
She is.
First guy.
Very,
500 bucks.
I think that's,
It wasn't on.
and then we just need the mover, this one's.
Yeah, hasn't been signed.
They're there. Playing around with it.
Yeah.
Whoever seconds it, I just make sure to note what those say, and then.
That's something.
Second.
The exact same thing.
Down. Sure.
But I gotta take the crossing guard away.
I figured.
See, that is.
Basically, in effect, but
Yes, yeah, and we've added that specified. Minimum size.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, yeah.
2.4 meters.
Double check that the wording's the same.
All right, I have a motion by Nita McEwen, seconded by Les Goldhawk, that the report by Jordan Wallace, planner dated August 26, 2025, regarding minor variance application A-1325, requesting relief from the town of Plympton-Wyoming's zoning bylaw 97 of 2003 for the maximum lot coverage on lands municipally known as 6738 King Street be approved in part, subject to the following conditions. Number one, certified lot grading plan be submitted to the town of Plympton-Wyoming and approved by the town prior to permit issuance. Number two, final grading plan certificate submitted to the town of Plympton-Wyoming upon final completion and subject to town's final approval. Number three, building permits required. Fees will be applicable at applicant's sole expense. Applicant to apply for a building permit and comply with all requirements as prescribed by the Ontario Building Code to the satisfaction of the County of Lambton Developmental Services Department. Number four, existing proposed driveway accesses are approved by the town of Plympton-Wyoming Public Works and a copy of approval to be provided to building services. Number five, to ensure eaves, troughs, downspouts, and grading is always maintained accordingly and within owned property boundaries, no exceptions. Number six, ensure the property is generally maintained and drained during the construction process and that drainage waters are not diverted to neighboring properties, that weeds and grass are always maintained within 20 centimeters, 8 inches or less. Number seven, a survey may be required by the property owner's expense if setbacks are under scrutiny and shall be at the property owner's sole expense. Number eight, for the detached accessory structure, used only for personal use only, no habitable space, no livestock permitted, and no commercial or industrial uses permitted. Number nine, that the minimum side yard setback adhere to the zoning bylaw required, which is 2.4 meters. I will call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. So there's a 20-day appeal period. During that time, if there's any questions, you can talk to planning or the planning technicians. But after that, you can start your bill.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, we'll move on to the rest of our meeting. Our business arising. Anything to add to our comprehensive zoning bylaw amendment at all? Planning, anything that, any new business on that or?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. So we have received a second part of the zoning for staff review at this time. We don't have a timeline to provide committee with when comments will be provided, but likely in the next month or so, we'll be generally to review those and provide feedback accordingly.
Thank you. Any, anything from our committee as far as the zoning bylaw amendment? Okay, I'll go to new business. Anything from planning?
Yes, so additional residential unit regulations will be going to, we had an internal meeting with planning staff to go over the proposed regulations, and we will be meeting with staff in various departments, including conservation, later this week, to go over those before they are brought forward for a public meeting at the end of the month. The public meeting is just to gather input and feedback from both council and members of the public, and then the plan is to bring amended regulations as required based on the feedback to council for their consideration at the end of. Okay. When did we do this? We just want to go back to the one application on Fern Ave. Just to provide some clarification to member Goldtalk's question. So if you want to address the 5 point, because they're create orders there.
Yes, so just when we were reviewing the site plan, they did provide a side yard setback to the rest of the property, to the proposed addition or where the existing dwelling is, of 5.425 meters, and they have indicated that they are yeah, sorry, it's very small. Right here. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, they have indicated that they are removing, the concrete here is what they've also indicated here. And I believe in the St. Clair Region Conservation comments, they did make comments that access is sufficient as well.
As long as there was no additional variance required to that setback. So the setback, the 5.425 is the minimum 5 meters is actually to the dwelling. The detached accessory building is actually further, like a lot further than the 5 meters. So that is really why normally conservation asks for a minimum of 5 meters. So they've indicated in their comments that they're that as long as there's no further deviation, that they're satisfied with that access. So we just thought we would get back to you on that specific question because it's a very important question.
Yeah, and he did mention as well that they were taking that brick wall, well,
Yeah.
a little brick wall,
Okay. Any, so any new business, sorry, any other new business from our techs over there or? This? Adam?
No, sir.
Committee, Mike,
Nothing, thank you.
Jennifer? Nettie, yes. I know that traditionally if I don't know if we went against what planning was, I guess we need to have that discussion on the third application because you initially had denied. I guess my question would be, and I guess the clarification why, I guess why I went with it, I didn't, once the side yard setback was adhered to, I thought it wasn't then as big of a deal, but because we're supposed to kind
We
of,
will need some sort of reason to put
Yeah.
in the final.
yeah. So I wonder if planning would you have accepted more if it was just the side, if they would have complied side yard rather than, and with just that size, Jordan, or? Okay.
So planning's opinions or sorry, recommendations have been consistent in this area for variances for structures that are larger than what is permitted in the zoning bylaw, the 93 square meters. They were speaking to the amount of other accessory structures in the area that are large. I did do some research into that, and from what I've been able to find, is a majority of those structures were constructed pre-2010, where the zoning bylaw then changed from what it used to be, which was the lot coverage of accessory structures shall not exceed the lot coverage of the dwelling. And then it was changed to the 10%, the greater or the lesser of 10% or 93 square meters for lot coverage of accessory structures. So no, it would not have changed my mind. They were requesting, and I also do think based on some of my analysis, my own analysis of how large the structures were and how large their attached structure or garage was, that the justification of the proposed uses, it wasn't, I believe that they had sufficient space based on my calculations of how much space everything would take up.
in my opinion, that would have been good information earlier.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so. Yeah, but through you, Mr. Chair, is just, like an in-depth analysis was done on this just to determine the status of how that woodlot came about in terms of the access. And it's just an interpretation, I think, one views it as a buffer, but it's always been, as Jordan indicated, in the planning reports as the access to that area. And there were many conversations with the designer about options, where it was felt that there were other options that they could consider, and that the deviation really, like even on the size and the setback that was being proposed, it was so minor that they really didn't need the variances, and we just couldn't justify it from a planning perspective, because there was no planning foundation to their request. It wasn't a hardship, it was a want. So it was this is a bit different. So, I think she did a great job with it. But it was certainly a lot of time and effort was made in terms of like to consider this application and before the recommendations were put forth.
So committee, we need to have reasons why we okayed it.
Okay, I can give you a reason, because there's nothing behind their backyard except a bush. So,
Will never be,
hmm,
and will never be anything but.
well, not supposed to be, but you can't say never.
No, when we severed it, we said never.
Sure. And so I think that would be one reason, is that there's no buildings, no neighbors in the immediate backyard. So.
And through you, Mr. Chair, I mean, the committee can make the determination that there is no negative impact to having that size of structure on that property based on the surrounding uses and that could be a reason for it as well. It's really whatever sounds reasonable to committee from that standpoint.
So realistically, it'd be easy to summarize that the committee felt that the variance in size would likely not adversely affect the adjacent property and is in character with the existing community.
Yes,
What he said.
Yeah, at least,
I think that would be sufficient.
All right, I don't think, thanks, planning and architects for all their work, and our committee as well. I have a motion here by Nettie McEwen, seconded by Jennifer Turk, that the Committee of Adjustments meeting be adjourned and the next meeting be scheduled for October 14th, 2025, 5:15 p.m. I believe that's the day after Thanksgiving. That's carried.